Hello, welcome to the INFJ Visionary broadcast. This is your host, the INFJ Visionary. Today's topic is the INFJ door slam. I'm sure you've heard of it. There's no shortage of videos on YouTube about the old door slam, and I'm going to give you some of my thoughts on it. And of course, in typical INFJ Visionary fashion, I'm sure we'll go on to a bunch of other related topics, or maybe even not related topics. Doesn't really matter. We got 10 minutes together, so let's see what we can do to throw some light on this phenomenon. First of all, we're not the only type that will slam a door on somebody. I think just about any type will do it, but I think we are relatively famous for it because we have this tendency of always just putting up with people's bad behavior in the hope that they're going to realize that they're not acting appropriately and mend their ways. And sometimes people do. I mean, I'm a big believer in giving people the benefit of a doubt. And I never slam the door on anyone lightly. I've only had to do it a few times. And mostly, for me, if I'm going to slam the door on someone, it's because I just find it too painful to be around them. It's often very difficult for them, I've noticed, because they don't have any real comprehension many times of what they've done wrong. And I would like to be fair and explain to them exactly what it was they did. And I do know I'm not in the dark as to whatever particular activities they were engaged in that stimulated the door slam. But most of the time, you just don't want to explain it to them because they won't have any comprehension. They won't see where they violated your trust or your space or even your own personal existence in many cases. The thing is, I think we have, as INFJs, we generally like to be helpful to people. We can see a lot of times very clearly what sort of problems they have. We can oftentimes see solutions for them because of our extroverted feeling function, which I call the extroverted feeling torture chamber. I call it the torture chamber because quite often we're picking up all this external stimuli about people and their problems. But there's very little that we can actually do to affect external reality. That is the real issue I have with that. But I am going off topic here. Suffice to say, though, that this extroverted feeling component can make us very adaptable. We can read people and adjust to what we're saying. We can catch all the. I think INFJs were the masters of clocking the micro expression. We know what's going on with people, and sometimes we can even unconsciously adjust and adapt. In many cases, a lot of people just don't even have an actual sense of who we are or what we're about. And that doesn't personally bother me because very few people have the ability to understand who I am or what I'm about. And it's not because who I am and what I'm about is so magnificent or interesting. It's more that let's face it, the way we are wired, the way we operate as INFJs, it doesn't make sense to most people. As a matter of fact, I remember I had reason to go see a psychologist with a person I was having some problems with at the time, and I remember explaining to her at this time I wasn't really that up on the Jungian archetypes and how we were wired that much. I didn't even really know about the cognitive functions other than I knew what INFJ stood for. I remember talking to this psychologist about how I interacted with the world, how I worked with the world, and she looked over at me and she says, "Well, that just seems exhausting." And she's not wrong. But the thing is, it's not a choice for us. I think the extroverted feeling component is exhausting because if we were left alone to our NI, our introverted intuition alone, we wouldn't have too many problems. We wouldn't have many problems at all because we'd just be vibing with the cloud of what we have in our mind and the connections it's making, the goals we have, the jobs we want to do. And we wouldn't have to worry about other people. But we have this pesky intrusion constantly of other people and their wants and desires. And I think we, as INFJs, have a sincere desire to help. I know I do. Although being a bit older, as I've indicated on this channel, I have been through a lot of the issues that I think younger INFJs run into with people attaching themselves to the INFJ and making the INFJ's existence difficult. And that's the whole narcissist codependent modality, which we'll get into on this channel. I'm not an expert on narcissism, but I have some things to say about it. Anyway, we're talking about the door slam. So I always feel bad when I do the door slam, but honestly, I know that it's going to happen because I really cannot have that person in my life. Now, there are people that I've had fallings out with, or that have had fallings out with me, that I have not slammed the door on. I definitely know the distinction, and I will say that if I have slammed the door on somebody, there's always, in my mind, they could possibly redeem themselves. Although, again, since I think we know people very well, we know, we see it all, don't we? We see the good things, we see the bad things, and many times we just know that these people don't have an ability to overcome their own bad qualities. And it's not a problem unless what they're doing is really messing with us or interfering with us. And at the point in time where it is messing with us and our own stability as a person, that's when we're faced with the door slam, and we do it. We have to do it. It's a matter of, I wouldn't say life and death, but it's a matter of certainly psychic life and death. And being around people that don't respect you or don't have an appreciation for what you do for them, or don't recognize that your point of view is nuanced and based on a lot of, in-depth thinking about things. I don't think most INFJs just come up with some idea off the top of their heads and go with it. I mean, most of our positions tend to be nuanced. We definitely have access to both the light and the dark. And in so many ways, that's the purpose of this channel, is to acknowledge the darkness. And this is really kind of a dark thing to do, to slam the door on someone. And if you, like I was mentioning enlightenment in the last, and I'm no expert on enlightenment, as I was saying in the last broadcast, I'm not an enlightened person, so I really shouldn't even be talking about it. But if you were an enlightened person, would you slam the door on somebody? I don't know. You would probably be able to find another way to reconcile the situation other than removing that person from your life. Now, if you have had to slam a door, I have had to slam a door on people, and this was back in the day when we had regular dial-up phones, and this person would just keep calling me. And unfortunately, my poor partner at the time, she had to answer the phone. I wouldn't answer the phone because I knew one time I'd pick up the phone, I'd have to talk to this person, and I didn't want to. I had had just about enough. I hadn't had just about enough. I had had enough of them. I haven't slammed the door on many people. I do think that it's something that you have to fall back on, and in many ways it's a refuge for us. We know. We take strength from the fact that we know people don't understand us. We know that we have our own private internal lives and world that other people just aren't able to comprehend anyway. And that's really what's key to us, what's important to us. We have this extroverted feeling torture chamber, though, which means that the people are constantly intruding on that, and which is all to the good, as I was saying in the previous broadcast. No person is an island. You can't just be pure intuitive intuition. You need to be involved with the world. So anyway, that's some of my thoughts on the door slam. Feel free to do what you want. I was going to say comment, and I really don't care. You can comment or not. At some point, someone will be the first, and when they do, I look forward to that. This is the INFJ Visionary signing off until I come back your way with another broadcast. Take good care of yourself, INFJ. And if you got to slam the door, slam it.